So I stumbled on this post from Quora. It's about a Nigerian man who left for the UK years ago, not to japa'd, just for school. And honestly, the reactions in the comments are wild. Let's dive in. I left Nigeria in September 2008 simply to further my education. The intent was never to live permanently in the UK. It was to obtain a master's degree in engineering and return to Nigeria to work in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Yes, at that time, the Nigerian oil and gas industry was really booming. Let's continue. Prior to my departure from Nigeria, I was a construction engineer for 8 years, but later combined it with running cement shops. Cement sales was the primary source of my earning, which I used to pay my school fees in the UK. In fact, I bought my first car in 2003 in Nigeria and equally bought Hiace buses that were in Abia Line and other places. Life was not bad in Nigeria then like it is today. A pound exchanged for about 200 naira, and I comfortably paid my school fees from Nigeria. 12,500 pounds. I remember when I was in the UK and the pounds was 250 naira. And then went to 300, 450, then we got to 500. When it got to 500, people started taking more shifts to get more money and send back home because they were thinking, oh, pound has never been this high. It's definitely going to go back to 250. But look at where we are now. A pound is what? Almost 2,000 naira to 1 pound now. Back then, his school fees was about 12,500 pounds. At 200 naira to a pound, that came to around 2.5 million naira. Today, that same program will cost around 25,000 pounds. And with the exchange rate now over 2,000 naira to a pound, you're talking about 50 million naira for the same program today. He said, it was never my intent to stay in the UK. Most of our schoolmates returned to Nigeria because Nigeria still presented them with few opportunities. That's very true. I know many people that finished their studies in the UK, went straight back to Nigeria. They were not even trying to come, but they actually came to study, not for the visa or anything. He said, considering that my reason for going to the UK was to leave construction and join the oil industry, I plan to stay back for at least 5 years to gain experience and then to return to Nigeria. What happened was that the more I stayed, the worse Nigeria became. Returning to Nigeria now looks more like a swim against the tide. There were several downsides to living in the UK. Yes, because there's nowhere that is perfect. Even the UK, the Canada that we all live in today, no one is perfect. Nigeria has its problem, abroad has its problem. I always say it. Nobody is coming here to whitewash any country to say, oh, Canada is perfect, UK is perfect, Nigeria is... No. Nigeria has got what's going for Nigeria, and the UK has got what's going for the UK. He said, there are several downsides to living in the UK, but comparing life in Nigeria with life in the UK today is like comparing life and death. Do you think this was too far of a comparison? This was an exaggerated comparison, life and death, Nigeria, UK? I don't know. What do you think? Well, I think that was a bit farsha. So he continues, he said, where do you start from? Clean air, water and gas piped into your home, free medical care, ease of getting jobs, security, value for human life, uninterrupted electricity supply, cheap food, multiple means of transportation, good road network, child benefits, unemployment benefits, and no one can owe you salary. Yes, there are many things he said that I agree. The first place where he talked about clean air, I was like, because when I lived in the UK, there were many families that I know of, mine included, that had somebody using inhaler because they had breathing or respiratory problems. And a friend of mine that worked with the NHS was saying the government should investigate what's in the air. She was an A&E nurse, and she was saying, the amount of people they see with respiratory issues, she herself had somebody in her family using inhaler. All the children I met in the children's center, all the families I met, there was one person or more using inhaler in their family. So I don't know, maybe it's the part of the UK we're living, but I don't completely agree that the UK has clean air. Like, I don't know. Because since we came to Canada, We brought inhalers to Canada, but since we came to Canada, we didn't need to use those inhalers. They all expired. They went past their best by date. That's the inhaler we can't go anywhere without. So when people say clean air, I'm like, okay, relatively clean air, right? And there are a lot of benefits. And keep in mind, this was 2 years ago where this brother was talking about this. Many things have changed. Many things have gotten, I don't know, changed for the worse, for the better, I don't know. But things have really changed. When it says free medical care, one thing about the Western world, all these things we call free medical care, free this, free that, we pay for it with our taxes. In the UK, they have their NI, national insurance. Everybody pays for that. That's different from tax again. In Canada, we have our own tax we pay. These are what the government is using to provide these free services. So they are not that free. In Nigeria now, they are trying to make people pay tax because the ordinary Nigerian is their own government. They provide their own healthcare. They provide their own roads. They do their things for themselves. Another thing he said about nobody can owe you salary. I completely agree. In the private sector, you hear somebody say their employer is owing them for 6 months. And the employer is okay, let's just forget that one and start afresh. If you don't agree, you can be sent away. And there's 10 people waiting to take your position. So you will not be paid for 6 months. And they will tell you to forget that one. Let's start afresh so that I can pay you. And this is not only in the private sector. I know somebody working in a federal university in Nigeria that has not been paid for 1 year, over 1 year, because they are still sorting their paperwork out. Even in African shops or African businesses, you can't owe your employee because the standard of living is high. You need your money every single month. So nobody can owe anybody salary. Or else, you'll see yourself for small claims court. And in the comments, so many people came for him for these 9 things he listed. So let's keep reading. He said, if you have the opportunity to leave, don't think about it. You will be more useful to yourself and family if you leave. You may consider returning later when you are sure that you are equipped to contribute to society than you are now. I left Nigeria on my terms, but I have no regrets that I did. There's no joy in poverty and insecurity. Have you asked yourself why our politicians relocate their families to the UK? Many Nigerians here earn massive money too. That's correct. Many Nigerians are doing well abroad. It's not just the survivor ones. The credit is AKO AKO. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. This person said, such a touching life story in Nigeria. I am an immigrant from Vietnam to the United States in 1990. And my home country of Vietnam is not any better than Nigeria. So I can relate to your life story in so many ways. I have been in the United States for 35 years now, and I haven't returned home for a visit yet. I can afford to go, but I just don't want to. I left Vietnam when I was 12 years old, so that would be like 47 now. I don't know how much my country of Vietnam has changed. I have lost completely contact. I think they meant I have completely lost contact with my immediate family over there because of our language barriers. I cannot speak Vietnam anymore, and my siblings don't know how to speak English either. So I don't have any choice but to live my solo life on American soil with my American husband and my Asian American son. I am working full-time job every day for the past 28 years and still working until I can't work anymore. Thanks to America for giving me a better life and freedom. Personally, I thought this was a little bit sad because I cannot imagine not having any links with my family anymore. I thought that was a little bit sad, even though she's looking at the brighter side. That's one thing immigration does. It cuts roots. It just uproots people. And I'm sure she would be happy to have her family, but it's what is the hand that was dealt to her, and she's just making the best out of it. I think not having links with family is sad. And also where she says she work every day until she can't work anymore. I don't know about that, but there were some spicy responses to her comment. So somebody else responding to our original story said, "Nice to know. As much as this is interesting to read, regrettably though, such stories encourage the Western world to be stricter on their immigration laws. They hate such breakthrough revelations and would rather see people from the less privileged countries remain in their home countries. Alas, to our leaders who are directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously responsible for this sad development." First of all, for me, comments like this I find interesting because it's inferring that this kind of story is what's making us lose ground internationally in terms of visas. You are the one telling them no, but they know the root cause, and the root cause is what's making people to japa. Japa is a symptom of something. They already know the root cause, so it's not the symptom they are looking at. They know why people are running away. Somebody responded to that other guy. He said, "Firstly, why is it regrettable that the West would employ stricter standards in immigration? Do they owe it to you? Secondly, the West loves taking the very best immigrants. They will never turn away the opportunity to get the best human resources possible. It benefits them and hurts the source country." This person is, in my opinion, very correct. They are restricting visas. People are still getting employment. People are still getting visas. Students are still getting full scholarships from Nigeria. They want the best of the best. If you are the best of the best in your country, they will entice you and take you to their country. They will offer you what your country cannot offer you. In sports, we see it today. There are a lot of Nigerians that are now playing for other countries that are treating them better than the Nigeria Federation. Even in academics, in sciences, once you are doing well, they'll start calling you and offering you things. They will make you an offer you cannot reject. They are not relying on their local talents because they know that local talents can only do so much. So they are looking for the best of the best in the world. We are not doing this. Even our own local talents, we are not even keeping them. Let's take this other comment. This is a long one, but I just wanted to take it because there were so many things said here. He said, "I think you should also admit that Europe, particularly the UK, is also not the way it was in 2008. Now, in the name of Japa, leave Nigeria by all means. Some of our people are suffering in the UK. True. Which clean air? Many are homeless with promise of the job that they don't get months after relocating, after parting with millions of naira. And if they do, it's probably only care work. While it's okay to migrate, immigration is age-long. Doing so just because it's the trend or the phantom idea of making it, even when some are obviously making it here before relocating, is what I don't understand. Perhaps relocating to the US or other Western countries, but UK is overhyped in my opinion. One comedian even said UK is only 2 grades higher than Nigeria. Good roads and constant electricity. Maybe it's right, or perhaps it's wrong, but we can't all leave Nigeria. Some won't, some can't. Even the Western world is not ready to admit all of us. OTO, we shouldn't all leave though. They just can't. Nigeria is too big for that. Just 39,000 immigrants from Nigeria, and the UK is already screaming too many immigrants, while they keep collecting exorbitant visa, tuition, and whatever fees and boosting their economy at our expense. They are making lots of money from immigrants. Nigeria is a sleeping giant, I admit, and our leaders are not getting it right yet. But I believe we've not tapped near a bit of our resources and potential. Perhaps we are just ungrateful, discontent, unwilling partner with God, the creator of the universe, to build ourselves and our country. And it is so sad that both the leaders and the led are just playing, expecting a miracle without putting in the work. If you have the opportunity to japa, well, maybe. And if you choose to stay, trust God, work hard and smart, and believe that everything will be all right. And somebody responded and said, "My brother, save us the long grammar. I have been a banker in Nigeria since 2008, and it's not just it. The business I tried partnering with a friend He scammed me knowing that I am a banker and wouldn't leave my work to monitor. Nigeria is hell and everyone is an opportunist with no integrity. Jackpot is not just about making a hell of money, but about sanity, security, and healthcare. Bro, I prefer to serve in heaven than to rule in hell. Everybody has their experience. But this guy, one thing I would say, I don't do absolute. You can't just say everybody in Nigeria don't have integrity. Maybe all the people you have met don't have integrity, but not everybody in Nigeria. There are still honest people in Nigeria. And this idea that Igbo people are honest, they are better. Some people will say, oh, Tinubu is better than many Nigerians, or many Nigerians are worse than Tinubu. The Bible said the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's it. Humans are not the nicest. What is keeping people together is the fear of God. Secondly, systems. Nigeria, there are some people that have the fear of God. Others don't. And those others, systems would have been able to curb them. But there are no systems in place. So now you have people without the fear of God and with no systems to curb their excesses. And you think, oh, Oyinbo people are better. Oyinbo people don't behave, but they just have systems that keep people in check. Even at that, you still see things going wrong. So it's not a Nigerian thing. I will keep talking about the systems. If there are systems in place, you see better behavior. Because if it's a place where things work, somebody scammed you, you report them and investigations will go into it. Because there are no systems, there are no checks and balances, people can get away with anything. So it's like egg and chicken. Which comes first? Do you have the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken? For me, I believe when the systems are in place, you start seeing better behavior. When you cannot bribe your way out of a problem. When no matter who you are, you will answer for your offenses. You will start seeing better behavior, because when they call this person, they know that person, they can behave as they like because the systems are not there. And that was a discussion about one man's jackpot story and other people's comment. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.